Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to my virtual interactive live. And today's virtual interactive live is going to be substance abuse. Come on in, guys. Come on in.
All right, now I see everyone. This away, put this up. Okay, now I don't hear anything. Don't hear anything. I can't hear you. Let's see. So the volume is up. Um, volume is here. It's on 81. I can't hear anything. Hmm. Let's see. Can't hear. I can't hear anything. Can't hear.
Miss Love, you have to check your volume.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Okay. All right. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I am well. I'm well. I'm still floating and recovering from yesterday's session, and
Oh,
it was really great.
yes, it was great. It was
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. I was looking. I'm looking forward to today,
Me too.
um, and so I'm excited, ready to you know get in it
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and everything. Uh, Is anyone here as of yet?
No, there's no one here as of yet. Just
Okay.
you.
It's raining here where I am,
Oh,
and
it's raining?
so people
Yes,
are
on the same.
it's good
On the
sleeping weather. So people are
Yeah.
probably getting that extra, you know, that extra sleep. It's rainy and a little and cool here. Yeah. Okay. All right. So well, let's get right on in.
Yes.
Get in it. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hi, Miss Griffith. So glad to see you. Um, today, um, even though it's Monday and here in New York, we're enjoying the liquid sunshine today and everything. But we're just grateful that we are able to see and feel the liquid sunshine. So I'm really glad to be here and be with you all once again. Today, our topic is going to be substance abuse. Substance abuse. I know I've spoken on it before, and because it was I spoke on it of um, in terms of mental health and in the family. I had spoken on it and I touched on it briefly, and I had gotten so many questions and comments after that session that I decided we'll bring it back again. And so I'm excited about talking to you some more about substance abuse. Um, and there's a lot of there's a lot of information out there about it, but it's a lot of new information out there about it. And so as part of my preparation um, in dealing with clients and just staying on the cutting edge of mental health. I try to stay on top and on abreast of the latest information that's out there so that I can serve uh, serve you all and my clients even that much better. Okay, so so I'm always reading the psychological and mental health journals and things of that nature to so I can you know continue to inform and empower my clients, all of you, with the best information that's out there. Okay. So, having said all of that, um, I'd like to just get right into it. Um, and if you have questions, comments, feel free to put it right in the chat. You don't have to wait till question and answer period. Put it right in the chat because as soon as you think of it, because I may very well answer your question or respond to your comment while I'm presenting, or even, when Miss Griffith will read out your comment out loud. Again, thank you all for your questions, your comments, your feedback. Um, it's you all that make this program what it is and as powerful and informative as it is. And again, without your feedback, I'm only going to be able to do but so much. But I'd like to, bring you the best information that I can so that you can use it and share it with someone else. Again, don't forget to like the video, and share it. Okay. So now let's get into it. Okay. All right. Um, in anyone waving to say hello?
No, there's no one here yet.
All right. All right. Well, like I said, they're probably enjoying this liquid sunshine with their eyelids closed for a couple of minutes. Okay. So substance abuse. All right, we want to talk about what that is. First of all, um, the term substance abuse is no longer used to describe addiction, dependency, um, abusing substances. So that's the first thing. So the new term now is substance use and misuse. Okay, um, but to describe um, addiction and dependency upon substances, um, the term is used that's currently used now is substance use disorder. Okay, yes, it's a disorder. Okay, so let's look at what do we mean by substance. You hear, us refer to, or we throw around these terms all the time. Um, Substance abuse, substance dependency, um, substance use, misuse, substance use disorder. What do we mean by substance? Okay, and the definition, the which substances that we are talking about, um, is not just any substance. We're not talking about water. We're not talking about um, juice. We're talking about specific substances. Okay, and a substance is a substance is psycho any psychoactive compound that has the potential to cause social, mental, or physical harm. Okay, um, social, mental, or physical harm. Um, and so the substances that we're going to be referring to, all of them, um, they have these things in common. They are they're a compound. Okay, so that means that it could be a liquid substance. It could be in a pill form. It could be um, something that even you inhale. Uh, but whichever form it is, it's a substance that um, is a compound, psychoactive, meaning that it affects your psyche. Okay, and then so it's a psychoactive substance, psychoactive compound. I'm sorry, excuse me, which once ingested or taken in, um, it has the potential to lead to social and health problems. It also uh, can affect affect you, affect your physical, mental, even emotional health. And so these are what we mean by substances. These are the types of substances that we are referring to, these compounds that can cause, uh, first of all, they cause or trigger psychoactive activity. It causes something in your brain to react. Okay, so these substances that I'm referring to, I have a whole list of them, and I'm gonna let you know. But all of these substances have these capabilities and um, have these. They affect the area, same area. Another thing about these, well, I want to read the list of the substances to you, okay? Now, these substances include alcohol, caffeine, nicotine, tobacco, um, also substances that fall under the category of amphetamines, um, uh, also inhalants, cannabis, both in forms of marijuana and synthetic cannabis, oils, um, and things of that nature. Also, uh, ana- anabolic steroids as well, hallucinogens such as LSD and things of that nature, opioids such as um, the oxycodons, the um, the uh, oxycodone, morphine, um, things of that nature. Those are usually prescribed controlled substances. Also, stimulants. Oh, well, I called out one stimulant, which is amphetamines. Um, but cocaine is also a stimulant, and caffeine is also a stimulant. And I called that out earlier. Okay, so these are the various uh, types of substances that we mean and we refer to when we are speaking about substance use and misuse. Okay, so I know some of you heard of and are very familiar with some of these substances. In fact, we all uh, are familiar with at least one or two of these substances. Okay, we may have even indulged with one or more of these substances. But yes, these are the substances that um, they all are psychoactive, psychoactive compounds, meaning that they do trigger psychoactive activity. They cause your brain to move in a different way. Okay, and that it wouldn't normally move in if you were not ingesting these particular substances. Okay, um, so those are substances that we are referring to when we talk about substance use and misuse. Okay. When you hear me talking about that, those are the kinds of substances that I'm going to be referring to. But those are also the substances that um, lead to substance use disorder. Okay. In other words, these are addictive substances that lead to that disorder. Okay. Uh, what is the substance use disorder? Okay, that's just a big word that encompasses um, addiction, dependency, um, and general misuse of those substances that I just listed before. Um, that's the general layman's uh, definition of about what substance use disorder is. Okay, but it's that, and I want to talk to you about why it is a disorder. It's no longer just, oh well, that person has they can't, put it down. They're hooked on it. They can't put it down, or um, they just they like it, and they just it's a habit, and they want to just um, continue to use that particular substance. You know, oh, um, uncle, he's an alcoholic. He just you know he just got to have his drink. That's what it is. He won't put it down. um auntie, she's always on those sleeping pills. She just pops them like as if they're candy. you know um I'm sure you've heard, or you may have experienced it yourself, or someone that is experiencing or has experienced addiction to substances. Okay. Um, it could be you, could be someone somebody in your family. But all of us have encountered, if not experienced, substance use disorder. Okay. Now, why does it occur? It occurs very, very frequently. Like I said, all of us either knows of someone, or it might be even us personally, where this particular disorder has touched our lives. It's very, very close to home. Okay. Um, why does it happen so frequently? Well, um, studies show that um, in this country, United States, um, that we have a substance misuse problem. It's part of our lifestyle. Um, you know, um, Here we have a um, remedy for everything. We got a pill. We got something that you can take for any and everything. Uh, Medication is plentiful here. We have um, different substances, that we use every day, you know, and we use a lot of it. We use a lot of it. So, um, hence the term substance use. We use a lot of it, and sometimes we use too much of it. And, but why is that? Because it's there, it's plentiful, we have easy access to it. Um, for example, um, how many of you out there, when you get up in the morning and you start your day, you have that cup of coffee, that first cup of coffee. And that's something that you do every day. And that cup of coffee, it just sets your day right. It helps you wake up, helps you get ready for the day. It's part of your morning preparation, before you eat anything. Some people like to have a hot cup of coffee on an empty stomach. You know, uh, how many of you all, you know, either they experience that, or somebody. I know I have people in my household that uh, they wake up, but they are like zombies, walking around until they have their cup of coffee. Once they have that cup of coffee, like they wake up, they're alert, they're here ready to start the day and ready to go. You know, people right here in my house. Um, Me personally, I'm not a coffee drinker, um, but I like my tea. I like my tea. Yes, tea. But you know, coffee and tea, if it's not specifically herbal tea, um, has caffeine in it. It has caffeine, and caffeine is one of the substances that was listed as a psychoactive compound. When you drink that first morning cup of coffee, or you ingest, well, I like caffeine too, but um, I didn't I didn't get my caffeine from coffee. My thing, I used to be a chocoholic. When I was in college, I had to have at least two candy bars, Mr. Good Bar. I had to have it every day, otherwise I would not be able to get through my classes. I was a I was a chocoholic. I had to have that chocolate. Had to be Mr. Goodbar, particularly. If I couldn't get Mr. Goodbar, then I would settle for Hershey, for the Hershey's candy bar. But I had to have two. Okay, one wasn't cutting it. I had to have at least two, and I had to have that every single day. Okay, so so I would get my caffeine from chocolate, and like I shared with you, I didn't even realize I had a problem until one of my friends bought me a 16-ounce uh, Mr. Goodbar candy bar, 16 ounce, and it was big, and it was perforated where you can break off little pieces of it, you know. Um, 16 ounces of chocolate. That's 1 pound of chocolate. He bought that for me for my birthday, and I thought that I was going to, break off a piece, and have some now and save some for later. I thought it was gonna be, it was gonna last me a couple of days. I thought at least 2 or 3 days, because that's a lot of chocolate, you know. That's what I thought. But I knew I had a problem when within 4 hours, that 16-ounce candy bar was completely gone. I didn't share it with anybody. I sat there and ate that thing myself, by myself. And then I was sad and mad once it was gone. And I knew I had a problem then. I knew, it was time. It was time to put it down. Um, and so I had to quit cold turkey, um, and put the no more chocolate, no more chocolate every single day. I used to have one candy bar in the morning and one candy bar in the afternoon. I had to quit cold turkey because I realized I had a problem. But that's my caffeine story. Um, but even today, I still like my chocolate, but I don't I don't eat it as much. I don't eat it daily. I'll have a piece once in a while. I don't even have it monthly or anything like that, because I knew that I like the chocolate. Anyway, so back to um, back to what we're talking about today with the substances. Yes, our country here in the United States, we have a lifestyle where culturally, we ingest substances, on the regular. It's just part of our culture. So that morning cup of coffee, that or that tea, if it's not herbal tea, um, we we have substances for everything. So you got allergies, before the allergy even really surfaces. We're already, oh, it's that time of the year, and we're already at the pharmacy, looking for our amphetamines and what we need to, clear up the allergies so that we don't suffer too long with the allergy. Um, when we go to the doctor and, we have any kind of pain, you know, the doctor is very quick to give us something for pain. Um, you go to the dentist, you have a toothache, or you need some dental work done some kind of way. Get a tooth pulled, uh, your gum is sore. They will ask you, are you comfortable? Here's some, pain killer for the soreness later. They give it to you before you even um, have the dental work done. You know, um, if you are, you're going in for surgery, um, they discuss with you even before the surgery sometimes, um, what, medication they'd like to, suggest for the pain after the surgery. Um, and then, they'll give you they'll prescribe the medication and everything, and they give you enough so that you shouldn't even feel any pain, even during the time period where you might experience some soreness. You won't even experience it because you already got the painkiller in your system. And so, and that's just very, regular, very frequent. It's just part of our lifestyle. We uh, want to live comfortably, a life with no pain at all. Um, and we want to be able to do all that we do um, without any physical hindrances. We also, as a country, we, especially those of us that live in the big cities, we get very little sleep. So you know, where our body wants to go to sleep, we'll find something, take something, some kind of pill where, you know, it has a stimulant in it so that we don't go to sleep. And then when we want to go to sleep, we can't sleep because we took the stimulant. So then we have to take the sleeping pill to calm us all the way down so that we can go to sleep, you know. But that's how we live. That's how we live. And so because we have all of these substances so readily available to us, it's easy access. We use it every, we use it often or every day sometimes. We can easily m- misuse the substance very easily. Um, just just having that cup of coffee every single morning, you know, and to the point where if we don't have that cup of coffee, our behavior changes, our disposition changes, our activity changes simply because we didn't have that cup of coffee. Um, we have a dependency on that caffeine, and that just came out of having a regular cup of coffee every day, one cup, so yeah, because of our lifestyle here in this country, we um, use substances very, very often. And because of how often we use it and the large amounts that we use it in, even, we easily fall into substance use disorders where we literally become chemically dependent on these various substances. And so, just to um, drive home that point um, about our lifestyle, our culture, we have a very uh, chemically dependent culture and lifestyle here in this country. Um, for example, and we're like that with um, a lot of substances, not only these substances, but and it's acceptable. It's you know you don't even realize that you may have a problem. You may not even have been aware of how chemically dependent uh, we are or we were on these various substances. So simple thing like, well, it's simple, but like alcohol. Alcohol is, you can find alcohol in any corner store, grocery store, um, supermarket. You can get alcohol anywhere, and it's relatively inexpensive, depending on what it is that you like, um, and it's accessible. So, um, you know, yeah, and here in this country, we have we go to what we call happy hour after work. Um, well, before the pandemic. Um, Going attending happy hour was a regular activity. After work, get together with some coworkers and you visit the the pub or the um, restaurant or what have you. That's not even far from your place of work, and you stop there and you have some drinks before you head home. Happy hour. Why they call it happy hour? Because you get happy. You're happy that it's there. So yeah, happy hour is a regular, part of our lifestyles. You know, and people go to happy hour every day. They they would go to happy hour every day. Now, because of situations with uh, indoor dining and outdoor dining and all that, it's a little bit different. But before the pandemic came into play, it was a regular activity. You thought nothing of it. And people would go and they would have a drink or two or three every day, every day, and then go home. They would have a drink or two just to wind down. They said, relax, shift gears from, being at the job and, you get relaxed so that you could go home and then deal with the family at home. So that's happy hour. And happy hour usually includes alcohol, having a drink, an alcoholic beverage. Um, Studies show that um, 61 million people admitted in this country admitted that they binged drank, binge drank within the past year. Binge drinking, as you know, is having quite a few drinks, one right behind the other. For men, the statistics is five or more alcoholic beverages right behind the other within 4 hours. That's considered binge drinking. For women, it's four or more alcoholic beverages within 4 hours. And that's what is binge drinking for women. And the statistics said that 61 million people, 61 million people admitted that they have engaged in binge drinking on the regular within the past year. Okay. That's a lot of alcohol consumed in a short period of time. And that's a lot of people doing that. Okay. So, and then another stat I had here is that a little bit over 44 million people admittedly expressed that they have uh, taken or engaged the use of illicit drugs within the past year. 44 million people admitted that. Okay. And when the stat says that they admitted it, it's like, yeah, what? That's not an issue. It's not a problem. You know, everything's okay. Yeah, this is what I do. Um,
So I will,
44 million people within the past year have used illicit drugs, okay, on the regular, okay. So I quote those stats simply to bring it to your attention, as you know, to just let you know how prevalent using how prevalent how um, frequent we all utilize these substances, and how it's a regular occurrence. It's an everyday occurrence. It happens just that frequently, and we it's part of our lifestyle here in this country to use all of these substances at some point or another. And so, and every time we use these substances, remember these substances are psychoactive, okay? Meaning that they trigger our brain to act differently. Even after one drink or after um, one instance where you used any of these substances, after one time, that one time that you used it, it impacted on your brain and caused it to act differently. Now, let me just talk about that mental that mental impact. Okay, what what these substances do when you ingest them, uh, encounter them. What these substances do is that they 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 impact and trigger the the uh, neurologically. They impact your brain neurologically, the nerves in your brain. They impact the nerve centers in your brain that are responsible for understanding reward, receiving reward. Okay. Um, and what they do is they trigger the reward response in your brain and changes that response so that your brain thinks that when you are um, ingesting these substances, your brain thinks, oh, I'm receiving a reward. And what happens is your brain then interprets that in such a way where your brain starts to experience pleasure and happiness. Uh, and then your brain becomes programmed to look for that substance so that it can experience that pleasure, that happiness uh, regularly. Okay, so after one use of those substances, your brain is impacted in that way, and neurologically it gets reprogrammed. Okay, so that's after one use that happens. So imagine, you know, you are, you know, repeating that several times a day, several times a week. You know, your brain becomes reprogrammed to look for that substance. So it begins to crave that substance just so that it can get that. Oh, I'm did something good. That's how your brain looks at it. It looks it looks at that substance. It looks for that substance. It wants that substance. It craves that substance. Um, it doesn't register as okay. I'm hooked on it, or um, I don't need it. Your brain literally looks for that substance in such a way, have you craving that substance in such a way that you will alter your daily activities, your regular schedule to make sure you incorporate ingesting that substance more regularly. That happens after one usage of those substances. One. So that's why, you know, those of you who have to have that cup of coffee, that caffeine, that's why you do it. That's why. You're not even conscious of it. Your brain has been neurologically reprogrammed by the caffeine in that coffee so that your brain wants that coffee every day. And once you drink that coffee, your brain experiences pleasure. But when you drinking that cup of coffee, your brain interprets that as, oh, I'm getting a reward. That it doesn't look at it as, you know, um, I need this coffee. You know, I'm craving this coffee. Your brain doesn't even realize that it's craving the caffeine. Doesn't realize that. You don't even realize that. Um, but that's exactly what's happening. And so you make sure that you have, you know, you start your day out with it, you know, that morning cup of coffee. And so that's a chemical um, reaction that happens in your brain from the caffeine. So that causes you to want to ingest that caffeine on the regular. You don't even think about it. You have to have it. You have to have it. Um, Otherwise, you won't be able to function the way you normally do or the way you would like. Um, and that is at the very root, that is an addiction. So um, that's an addiction. And that's a chemical dependency on the caffeine or on the coffee, which has the caffeine in it. And that happens, you know, we're not even aware when it happens. We're not aware at the moment that it happens. And so that's what caffeine. Um, that same response, that same reprogramming in your brain happens with all the other substances that um, I mentioned. It happens the same way with alcohol. It happens the same way when you take that amphetamine. It happens the same way when you ingest that anabolic steroid. The same way when you um, take in that cannabis, both synthetic as well as marijuana, the same thing happens to your brain every time you ingest it. Every time. So if you ingest it at least 3 times a day, 3 times a day, your brain gets programmed, reprogrammed more and more to want that substance. So it becomes very difficult to not have the substance. Um, and because it is a neurological um, impact on your brain that you're not conscious of, uh, you don't so for some people they have little control over that, and so it's very difficult for them to exist without those particular substances. So um, science, we're discovering all of these things with regards to these substances. So it forced us to have to look at addiction differently. Okay, so to the point where we refer to it as substance use disorder. Okay, so now I want to go back and explain, talk to you a little bit more about why it's considered a disorder, not a habit. Okay, it's a disorder. Okay, and it's a disorder because of the impact that these substances have on your brain, which then alters your behavior, your thinking process, um, and you physically, your brain um, sends out messages and orients your body to you physically crave it, and you your brain orients you so that you incorporate as part of your daily activities to make sure you ingest any of these substances on a regular basis. Okay, that's what makes it a disorder. Okay, and being that it is a disorder, it's a disorder. Your brain does it's not functioning in a way that um, your brain is reprogrammed as a reaction, a chemical reaction to having ingested these substances. So because of that uh, chemical reaction that's happening in your brain, um, that's what makes it a disorder where your brain becomes reprogrammed, and so it operates different. Okay, as opposed to the way it would operate had you not uh, ingested those particular substances, or had you not ingested so much of those substances, your brain would act differently. You would act different. Okay. Okay. So the the substance use disorder is a neurological disorder in your brain. Okay. Um, and because it is a neurological disorder in your brain neurologically um, is altered, and it's there's a chemical shift, chemical imbalance in your brain. Okay, and so that's something that has to be treated. Has to be treated sometimes medically, but it's not something that you have as much control over as uh, we previously thought in uh, past years when we um, talked about and sought to treat addiction to substances. Okay, so yeah, so it is a disorder. So when you're when you're looking at that family member that um has to light up that joint every day, um yeah, they're suffering from a neurological mental disorder. It's not it gets to a point where it's not even choice anymore. um it's a disorder. And so being that um their addiction is a disorder, we have to think of different ways that where we can approach it, intervene, treat it. Okay, and substance use disorder is a matter of public health because it is so rampant that it is a threat, literally, to public health in this country. And so, uh, me bringing awareness to you with regards to this, it I'm literally making a public announcement. You need to know that uh, what we used to call simply addiction, uh, chemical dependency, it's not a choice like that. That chemical dependency is it's real. It's a mental dependency. It's real. Your brain becomes reprogrammed to want that substance, to crave that substance. And the person that is suffering with this substance use disorder, they will orient themselves in such a way that they will um, take action to to you know to satisfy that craving. Okay, and so um, if it's you or someone that you know that is suffering with substance use disorder, otherwise known as substance abuse or addiction, they that you or that person needs a lot of support. And the great thing about it is, even though substance use disorder is uh, really rampant, and um, it's the numbers are astronomical in terms of how many people are suffering with this. There is a, just as much help out there. So the help is there. We even have new scientific approaches to it, interventions, um, um, all kind of recovery support. So the help is out there, um, just as accessible to you as the substance. Okay, so um, you know, I'm bringing this to you to everyone's attention so that we have to first change our attitude and our views about about addiction, substance, quote unquote, abuse, um, now scientifically known as substance use disorder. We have to change our views about it and our attitudes about it, and so that we can change our treatment of those that we know that are suffering with. Okay, another reason why the word for addiction, uh, chemical dependency, um, substance abuse. The reason why the we no longer use those terms any longer is because you, even in the use of those terms to refer to what a person is dealing with and going through, those very words connote, they carry a negative connotation, a negative a negative view of it. So, and there's judgment that's implied even in there. Just look at the word substance abuse. Okay. Yeah, it's a you're using it too much, using it a lot. Um, but there's a reason why you're using it too much. The reason why you're using it a lot. Your brain has been reprogrammed to crave that substance. And so in order to satisfy that craving, you're going to go for it. Okay. So, but the word abuse, um, substance abuse, to describe that, it uh, it conveys some judgment, negative view of the the diagnosis, a negative view of the person that's even suffering with that. So that all had to be changed because with that judgment, with that negative view of the person that is experiencing um, substance use disorder, they they're treated a certain kind of way. They are they're sometimes mistreated. In getting treatment for it and addressing it, they get mistreated. They get mistreated, and we don't want to add further insult to injury. Um, we want to give as much as support, treatment, encouragement as possible, so that um, that person would, make a full recovery and um, have a better quality of life. Okay. Okay. So that's the reason why the word changed, um, and and also to recognize the fact that it is a it's a it's a neurological change in your brain. Um, and because of that, it has to be treated a certain kind of way. Um, it takes much more than willpower to 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 treat it. So, but it is a disorder. Understand that, and because it is a disorder, we then have to look at it as that way and treat it as that way and uh, continue to treat everyone, whether they're suffering with that disorder or any disorder. We are to treat everyone with respect, dignity, care, so that they can recover. Okay. Okay. So now, with regards to the the treatment of substance use disorder, like I said, it is a mental disorder. It's a mental disorder. Okay. And so, um, therefore, it needs to be treated as such. So, um, there are, like I said, there's lots and loads of treatment out there. And depending on the the range or the range of the disorder, that how much or how little, or the impact that the disorder has on a person, there's various treatment for it. So there's not a one size fit all treatment for substance use disorder. Okay, but there are a plethora of treatments, different kinds of treatments, where each person can get a customized uh, action plan, which would help them recover, hopefully fully. Now, unfortunately, even with all of the treatment out there, there is currently not a cure for substance use disorder. Okay? It's not a cure out there yet. But like similar to type 2 diabetes, with the proper treatment, you can manage it, and therefore the the person, the client, can have a much more improved uh, standard of living, quality of life, much more greatly improved quality of life, um, and the person can reach very, very readily full recovery from it, from substance use disorder. Now, full recovery from it does not mean cured. There's a cure for it. It means full recovery, meaning that you can um, live a very high quality of life, um, and live your life totally free from the effects of substance use disorder, totally free from it. That's what full recovery means. You are no longer affected The cravings for those substances would be, um, either very, very low or none at all. That's what recovery means from substance use disorder. But there is no cure for it, meaning that you can fully recover from uh, the disorder where uh, your activities, um, you resume your lifestyle activities and everything like before you um, got diagnosed, or well, before your brain got reprogrammed. But that reprogramming of your brain, it remains. So even though you're in full recovery, you can, very, very easily wind up back um, with, obeying your cravings, your brain's cravings, because the brain has been reprogrammed. Uh, it's it continues to be reprogrammed. And if you ingest those substances again after not um, after not ingesting them, yeah, you can go through it all over again, and go through the whole process all over again. Your brain gets reprogrammed again. So that's what it means in terms of what it means to have a full recovery. Um, so yeah, there's medical treatments, there's behavioral therapy, there's recovery support, there is any combination of any of those together, where a person can manage the disorder to the point where they are the disorder fully or doesn't fully impact them, or impacts them very, very little, and they can resume their lifestyle or a better lifestyle. Okay, so I want to talk about, now that I've explained substance use disorder and why it's a disorder, and even discuss treatment of the disorder, um, and the need for it to be made aware, for awareness to be increased, so that we can change the attitudes around substance use disorder, change the attitudes towards people who are dealing with substance use disorder, so that we can all uh, live a better life. Okay. I want to talk about the effects of substance use disorder on the family. Okay. Because October is violence month, domestic violence awareness month. I want to talk about substance use disorder with regards to that. Um, Studies show, and the statistics make it very, very clear that there is a huge connections between domestic violence and substance use disorder. For one thing, the stats say that 80% of domestic crimes are caused by someone that is struggling with substance use disorder. 80%. 80% of domestic crimes that happen in the home or between people that, or amongst people involved that live together. 80% of domestic crimes are committed by people who suffer with substance use disorder. Okay, that's a whopping number, a whopping statistic. So it's important that we try to get help for substance use disorder. If we are suffering with it personally, go get the help. Go get the help, because when you continue on dealing with substance use disorder and you won't go and get it diagnosed, you're not trying to stop or trying to cut down your usage of these particular substances, it and your substance use disorder continues to go unhindered, unchecked, it leads to a whole lot of pain, hurt amongst those, not only to yourself, but amongst those that know and love you. Okay, and that you know and love. Okay, as I was saying, because of substance use disorder, here in the United States, we spend $420 billion a year on the consequences of people dealing with substance use disorder not being checked or curbed. So $420 billion a year is spent on consequences, problems that stem from the effects of substance use disorder. For example, $420 billion is spent on things like injury from car accidents, from someone who's drinking under the, who's driving under the influence. $420 billion spent on things like fatalities from car accidents, fatalities from domestic crimes committed, murder, gang violence, shootings. $420 billion spent on um, um, facility facilities that are that individuals need to be sent to or held in, like the penal system, like the uh, substance use disorder clinics and places of that nature. Um, $420 billion are spent on um, uh, problems and consequences stemming from attempted suicide or accomplished suicide, drug overdose, um, things of that nature. All of these things happen as a result of someone suffering with substance use disorder and they didn't do anything about it, or no one intervening got them the help that they needed. $420 billion. That's a lot of money. And that's spent every year. Every year. If if we could get everyone that is dealing with or suffering with substance use disorder, we could actually save a whole lot of money as a country, okay? And improve the quality of life for our citizens here, and people in this country, families, okay? Could you imagine if we could get uh, get ahead of substance use disorder? If we really could get in front of it and uh, uh, at least severely decrease it, and treat it, really effectively. Could you imagine how much better uh, people in this country would live? I mean, it's possible, but the word has to get out there. These statistics have to be shared. Our attitudes with regards to addiction, substance abuse, substance use disorder, all of that, our attitudes about it, um, making sure we get the help that we need, or our family and friends get to the help that's already out there. It's already out there. If you and I could just make sure that those that we know get to that help, we can make this country a better place and impact this world. Okay, so yeah, it's it's really really important that we do that, uh, ladies and gentlemen. So um, I want to stop there. Hello. Um, I want to stop there and ask if there's any questions or comments with regards to anything that I've said. Also, if after hearing all of this, you find that there's a possibility that you may be suffering with substance use disorder. There are a number of things that you can do. First, you got to talk to somebody. Got to talk to somebody, reach out to somebody, family, friend, somebody, and let them know that, okay, I think I'm suffering with this. I need to go get checked. So after you've talked with someone that you can trust or what have you, go to a mental health professional, um, and get evaluated. Get evaluated, get checked, so that you can find out exactly what's going on. And once you've gotten diagnosed, then you can then, along with your doctor, come up with an action plan where you can um, explore the different options with regards to treatment, and then proceed with treatment. Okay. Um, and there's, like I said, there's various types of treatments available, even because of the frequency of um, the amount of people that are affected and are suffering with substance use disorder. uh, Medical insurance policies, and there have been laws and public policies put into place so that someone suffering with this disorder can uh, gain access to treatment uh, that more readily, more easier, and the cost of the treatment even has been uh, changed so that everyone that needs uh, the treatment, they have access to it. So uh, go get checked, get evaluated, um, talk to someone first because you're going to need support. It's very, very difficult to uh, do do this alone. Okay, so if you're suffering, or if you think you might be suffering with substance use disorder, uh, you need support. No man, woman is an island. Uh, you don't have to do it alone. Talk to someone that you can trust, and then you, even with that person, go to the doctor. Like I said, a mental health professional. Um, you can even talk to me, but you have to go to a mental health professional uh, that can diagnose you properly, that they can evaluate you and diagnose you. Okay. So I would suggest that you try to find a psychiatrist, psychologist, uh, a therapist, even, but one that has the licensing to administer and prescribe medication. Okay, that's key because um, if your if the way that you're suffering with substance use disorder requires that you uh, need uh, you need prescription help, or you need to be treated medically um, with prescription, then you need to have that that kind of mental health professional readily available to you so that they can prescribe to you what it is exactly that you need. Okay, so talk to someone and then go find a psychiatrist, psychologist, mental health professional that has the licensing to prescribe medications if you need it, um, and get evaluated. After you get evaluated, then you can that person, or you can that medical mental health professional can suggest to you um, things or places or people that you can go to develop an action plan so that you can get the proper treatment and support that you need. Um, if it turns out that you don't have the substance use disorder, um, but um, you're not fully at the disorder stage, but you are headed in that direction. There are plenty of um, uh, there are plenty of intervention programs that you also can participate in and be a part of, and that will um, treat you and help you so that it doesn't turn all the way into uh, the disorder. Um, and you can then increase your quality of life and enjoy life that much more better. So if you think, you suspect that you might be uh, suffering with this disorder, go get evaluated. Go then and um, gather, explore all the different options, put together your action plan, and then execute it. And um, oh, and seek recovery support and all of that so that you can make a full recovery from it. Okay. Uh, Myself, I am a mental health professional, but I am not one that has the licensing to prescribe medication. So um, um, I, I can't help you with that, but I am um, fully qualified to where um, I can do behavioral therapy with you. I can also um, um, make recovery support. I can do that for you as well. Um, and therapy, I can do that because that's what I do. But I can, you can still call me, reach out to me. I can, you know, like I said, I don't prescribe medication, but I can refer you to uh, those mental health professionals that do. And I'd be more than happy to do that for you. And also refer you to um, someone that can um, that can I can do assessments and evaluation, but you would need to have um, go to the mental health professional that like a psychiatrist, psychologist, um, therapist that specializes in substance use disorders, um, that can evaluate you and evaluate you fully so that you can get the proper treatment that you need. Okay, so that's if you um, personally are experiencing some of these things. Now, if it's not you, but you know of someone that um, is going through substance substance use disorder, I would say to you, try to get with that person or those persons, talk with them, and try to steer them to help. Try to steer them to at least uh, get evaluated and diagnosed, because you know a lot of people are suffering. They're suffering in silence. They're suffering, simply because they they're not sure. They don't know. They don't realize that, okay, um, this is what's going on with me. And because they don't know, they're not aware, they just keep on going through um, the effects of the disorder. It's affecting them. It's affecting their families, their friends. They have difficulty keeping a job and all that kind of stuff. It affects every aspect of their lives, and they're eventually going to um, get really, really sick, um, physically. I mean, prolonged, uh, the prolonged effects of um, suffering with substance use disorder, you eventually will die. Okay, um, if you're, you know, overusing substances, yeah, you are you can have stroke, heart attack, overdose, uh, and die, or you know overdose, and no one wants to do that. Uh, it leads to suicide attempts. These are things that physically happen to a person, or physically can happen to a person that is suffering with substance use disorder and is going unchecked, undiagnosed, untreated. Okay, and we we need you to survive. Um, I know substance use disorder has ravished my family. My mom, she died at age 24, okay, from alcoholism. At age 24, I was 7 years old. At age 24, her liver was done. And she, you know, she also had other mental illness as well. She was a manic depressive schizophrenic, and she uh, chose to you know, overuse alcohol, and she's no longer here to talk about it. Dying at 24 years old, she left behind two daughters. My sister and I had to grow up without our mom. We had to, we were raised by our grandparents, on my dad's side. Okay. And it was rough. It was rough. Um, it was rough. I still very much so miss my mom to this day. Um, but I know if she was here, she would be very, very happy and excited about what I'm doing now. Do this work in honor of her, in honor of her life. Um, she's one of the people that you know, is responsible for me getting into mental health, period. My mom, she went through a lot. She had, she had mental illness, and her mental illness went unchecked, unevaluated until about 2 months before she died. By that time, it was not a whole lot that could be done to save her life. Um, but I'm glad that you know her life uh, speaks to me and other members of my family who um, alcoholism is very rampant in my family. Um, Substance use, overuse is rampant in my family. Um, but when she died, it served as a wake up call to a lot of my family members uh, and encouraged them to, um, get some help. And, for that, we're grateful because, we're still here. You know, my my grandmother, my mom's mom, she she's 96 years old now, and she's still here. She survived her daughter, but she too suffered with substance use disorder. She Her thing was um, she was she was smoked marijuana. My grandmother smoked uh, marijuana, and she's 96 now, and she's 11 years clean from smoking marijuana. I said 11, and she's 96 years old. Yes, my grandmother um, uh, overused marijuana until she was 85 years old. And and until then, my grandmother was very, very healthy, um, very, very active. And she said that the reason why she quit, and she quit cold turkey, was because she had gotten a hold of a bad batch, she said, and she wound up having a heart attack, a massive heart attack, uh, from the batch that she had smoked. And at 85, my grandmother didn't have any heart problems or anything of that nature. My grandmother didn't even have high blood pressure or anything like that. She was very, very healthy. And she said she smoked that and she wound up having a massive heart attack, but she survived. She had to get 2 stents placed in her heart, which she still has to this day. And she said, after that, surviving that, she's like, I'm not going to mess with that stuff anymore. And she did, and she's still alive today with all her wits and everything, able to talk about it. She's still very healthy today. Um, but she's living a much better quality of life, even at 96. Um, and she, you know, she knows all too well, excuse me, the effects of having suffered with substance use disorder and allowing and not getting any kind of evaluation, any kind of treatment for it. She almost lost her life, but thank God, she now has another chance, and she's living her best life at 96. Okay, so all right. So, are there any questions? Any
Yes,
comments?
yeah,
Are there any questions or any comments? I know it was a lot of information.
we have quite a few, but I'm gonna pardon today because we won't be able to answer all these questions because of the hours. Okay, Faith Silver said, how do you help someone get free from substance abuse that's in denial?
Okay, I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm
Faith Silver,
I'm having some trouble hearing you. All right, so I
okay,
need
Faith
you
Silver,
to, yeah, I need you to repeat that
maybe you
again.
can turn your volume up.
Turn my volume is, oh,
Faith
my
Silver,
volume
Faith,
is not up. Okay, let me try that.
I have
Wait, let me see, cause I can barely hear you. Wait a minute. Um, I'm just trying to get that volume up. It's over here. No. Um, my bot. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's get it up even higher then. Okay. All right. All right.
yes.
Go ahead, Miss Griffith.
Faith Silver says, how do you help
Yes.
someone get free from substance abuse that's in denial?
Okay, that's a very, very good question. Um, you have they're in denial, and that happens a lot. Okay, that happens a whole lot. Um, because they're in denial, they won't they won't accept the help, and because they're they're not diagnosed yet, you can't even, like, you know um like, I don't want to say force them to receive the help, but because they're not diagnosed, um you have to respect their wishes. Okay, they're still considered able to um, make decisions um, on their own behalf. So, um, what I would say is they're in denial, that and very often people don't realize that they have a problem or that there's something wrong. Okay. um, what I would say to you is to share this video with them, where the, they can watch the video, um, and learn, some what's going on, or maybe they'll be able to identify certain things that's going on with them, and maybe that way, um, perhaps it's not you maybe you're not the right person to talk to them because they you know they feel like, oh well, no, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. You know, they won't receive the help from you. You know, so maybe if you can find another family member or friend that can talk to them and bring it to them in a different way. Um, Also, I would suggest that you try to help that person to um I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it, but having try to get look at the different intervention programs that's out there, okay? And perhaps you can set up an intervention for that person where it's not you talking directly to that person, where that person, just tell you, oh, well, I don't have a problem. I don't know why you're talking to me about that. I'm fine. I'm fine. Or I can quit I can quit anytime. I can quit anytime, you know. But if you look at the different intervention programs out there, perhaps you can get that person to uh you know participate in one of those intervention programs. And again, because they're in denial, they may there are intervention programs out there where um they don't they it could be it could be an intervention program, that's recommended by the person's physical doctor, you know, or perhaps the person's internist can talk to them or bring it to their attention, like that, where when that person goes to the doctor to get their physical checkup or what have you, you know, they trust the doctor, so if the doctor says, well, physically you're okay, but in that last blood test that we had, you had uh excessive levels um of uh controlled substance. Perhaps you would like to go and I'll refer you to this doctor over here, or you know, where they can talk to you about um, seeing how to reduce the levels of that particular substance that's in your blood. Like that. Come at it that way. Talk to if it's a family member, talk to the person's doctor, so that at the next checkup or what have you, maybe the person's doctor can kind of um, help in setting up an intervention. Um, what else? Um, an intervention would be the best bet, but the trick is getting the person that's suffering with this to an intervention, or helping the person become aware that there's a problem. Okay, that's and that's difficult sometimes, but it can be done. With a substance use disorder, just like with other disorders, um, perhaps you can record the person um, in an activity that um, they do that clearly shows that there's a problem. For example, If the person is they drink excessively, um, they got a problem with alcohol. If you could some way record them, um, you know, doing an activity drunk, or record them uh, when they're having an argument or something, so that they can see the difference in their behavior, or they can see for themselves that, oh, wow, I was I was clearly drunk, and you know so and so had to take my keys from me, my car keys, because I really was gonna go get behind that wheel, staggering and all, and I was going to drive. And you know, so that's an intervention. Um, Recording that, or bringing it to their attention where they can see it for themselves and see that, oh, okay, that's me walking towards that car with keys in my hand, staggering, and that's cousin so and so when they snatched the keys out of my hand and would not let me drive. Yeah. Now that you know, I'm not drunk, I can readily see that, there's a problem. So that's what I would suggest, is trying to record that person engaging in some kind of action, uh, or activities that show that, you think that, this is a bit much. You think you had 15 drinks. Come on. Do you see that there's a problem? Presenting it to them that way, so that perhaps they can, come out of denial. Uh, so I would say record them in some kind of, activity where they are the behavior stemming from the excessive use or indulgence of that particular substance, um, so that they can see it for themselves. I would try that way. I would also try to talk to their doctor, or someone that they respect and trust their opinion. I would talk to that person and try to get that person to bring it to their attention. I would also send them this video, or let them watch experts excerpts of this video, where they can see that, you know it's not even, it's beyond something that they can physically control at this point. That they need help in in treating it, and trying to, you know get it to a place where they can function much better. Okay. I hope that I answered your question, uh, Sister Stover. I hope that that helps. Any more questions?
Okay. Um, Flo China Judith asks, what can you do if someone says they can't handle it or they don't have a problem?
Okay.
Did you speak aloud?
Yes, I can hear you. I
Okay.
can hear you. Yes. Um, that person that says, "Oh, I can handle it. I don't have a problem," they are in denial. Okay. And the unfortunate thing about being in denial is that they can't see for themselves that there's a problem. And what usually happens is it'll go on un unchecked, diagnosed, unhindered, until something happens, that could have been avoided, um, like a car accident, like they get arrested, like uh, they get sick. Something eventually happens that brings the reality right in front of their faces, and then they can no longer say, "Oh, I can handle it. I don't have a problem." Because if it's a thing with drinking, or let's say it's marijuana, and they they while high, they wind up getting into a fight and assault someone, and they wind up going to jail for assault. Okay, they can't say, "Oh well, I can handle it," you know, problem. Well, you might think that when those police came and arrested you, they obviously felt that you had a problem. Okay, that spending the night in jail, or whatever time, amount of time in jail, that shows that you obviously can't handle it and you obviously do have a problem. So uh, I would say, try to uh, that they, you know, know and trust, like maybe their doctor, maybe their a close friend, or someone that they trust their opinion, and have that person try to bring it to their attention. Otherwise, share the video, um, or uh, check to see what intervention programs are available to you in your area, and see if you can, or someone else that they trust can escort them to an intervention program. Otherwise, there's not much else you can do after that. And but pray. Prayer is key. Okay, prayer is key, because pray first, actually, because otherwise they will continue on going, and until something traumatic happens that uh, they really can't handle, that they didn't mean to happen. So, and very often people who are in denial, when something traumatic happens, that's when they realize, "Oh, okay, um, I was in denial." A lot of times when something unfortunate or traumatic happens, it could be too late, so uh, I hope that and pray that you'll be able to help that person come out of denial. Did I answer your question, Ms. Chang? How you all doing? Um, any other questions or comments?
Um, we have more questions. I'm gonna read few more comments, but we're gonna have to revisit it because of the hours.
Yes, yes.
Yes, we're gonna have to revisit.
Okay.
Um, let me see. Ms. Chang said, can excessive use of alcohol or drugs trigger mental illness or cause it? We, we will revisit
Yes.
that. We will revisit that.
Okay.
And Fair Stover said the young generation suffer bad with substance abuse and marijuana. Um,
Yes.
you can answer
Okay.
Miss
Yeah.
Chang question. Get me
A
ready.
lot. Right. A lot of people. They indulge in smoking marijuana. But marijuana is on the list of psychoactive, neurologically psychoactive drugs that reprogram your brain so that it um, it will crave that particular substance, and then your actions, the person's actions, they will orient themselves so that they will meet the need for that craving. They will you know um obey that craving and get the stuff. So yeah, marijuana, a lot of people indulge. Number one, uh a lot of people feel that, oh well, marijuana is a herb. It's an herb, and it's healthy for you. Marijuana, there are in the um, in cannabis does have some medicinal. It has a lot of medicinal value. Yes, um, it's used even um, to take away pain. It it's used prescribed even for people with cataract. Um, it has a lot of health benefits. Okay, that's why it's prescribed. But a lot of people, most people who um, indulge in the intake of cannabis are not doing it for health, for medical reasons. Most people, they are, they're using it for recreational use. And the thing about recreationally uh, use of cannabis, both synthetic and in marijuana form, it still is a psychoactive drug substance that causes uh, um, uh, a mental reconfiguration in your brain. Okay, and it causes you um, to become chemically dependent on it in such a way that your brain is neurologically reprogrammed so that you want more and more and more and more of the substance, and you're not trying to decrease the substance even if you're taking it for medicinal use. When it's prescribed medicinally, it's prescribed in certain amounts. It's not, you know, oh, let me smoke 100 pounds of cannabis today. It's not. you know, because it's prescribed. It's prescribed in a certain amount, you know, and used and absorbed by your, you know, utilized by your body as medicine. But even with that, you have to be mindful because it does reconfigure neurologically places in your brain. Okay. And so even recreational use, you know, people think, oh well, your recreational use, you know, it's just, you know, I'm not overusing it. It's just, you know, whenever I want to have a good time. After one uh use of those substances, after the very first use of those substances, your brain gets reconfigured and neurologically to crave that substance. Okay. After the first use. Okay. And the more you use it, every time you use it, the brain gets reconfigured. Oh, I need more. I was able to make it with just smoking one joint, but now I need two joints. Okay. I need three joints. Okay. Three joints a day, you know. And so your brain gets, you know, reconfigured to crave it more and more and more. And you then ingest it more and more and more to the point where it'll make you sick. It'll change your behavior and your thought processes where you can't function, uh, you know, on a daily basis. You can't function regularly. Your whole, you know, mental capacity has been altered to the point where you're non-functional. So yeah, um, it's pretty tough. And in this country, particularly, you know, overusing substances is part of the culture. It's part of the lifestyle. So a lot of people think, oh well, you know, they're making marijuana legal now. So you know, it's not a drug. It's not doing anything. I can handle it. No, you can't. No, you can't. Um, and so that's what I would, you know, ladies and gentlemen, you have to get it across, you know, and share this information. You know, it's not just, uh, you know, oh, it's just weed, or oh, it's just one drink. Alcohol, even one drink, reconfigures your brain. That one time, it reconfigures your brain. You know, so the more that you do it, the more your brain gets reconfigured to the point where your brain only knows, okay, I got to get that substance. I got to get that drug. That's all I can do today. Get that drug. Get that drug. I need that drug. And then you're not able to function, you know, not properly anyway. So, but um, thank you all so much for allowing me to share. This session today is on was about substance use disorder. Yes, it is a disorder. Okay, I can't stress that enough. Please, 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 people, share, like, and share the video. Let everyone that you know and love, let them know what it is that you learned here today. Uh, it is a you know, a substance use disorder is rising to epidemic levels. Okay, so and we need to do all that we can to stop it. Okay, so please share the information. If you or someone you know is you suspect that they're suffering with this, please, please, please get them, point them to some help. You can even reach out to me. Um, you can call me 718-576-8110. You can email me dunamissoundmind@gmail.com. You can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. You can even, contact Miss Griffith even, and but please reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you um, get the help that is needed. I'll be glad to help you with your family member or your friend get to the help, because ladies and gentlemen, it really is a matter of life and death. If it's not the person's life and death who is suffering with the disorder, it's it could be your life and death, because uh that person could very well, you know, wound up doing something that would cause the life and death. I mean, that would cause the death of someone that we all know and love. Okay? So please, please, please. Thank you so much again for letting me share. Um, I'm here on Mondays, 10 a.m. Um, and on Sundays, 1 p.m. So feel free to tune in, and don't forget to like and share the video. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry that we are running out of time, and so we can't get to uh, all of the questions and comments uh, right now, but I will be reading the comments and the questions. And if you want to uh, reach out to me, and I can go over the answer, make my comments over the phone, or maybe the next time we come together next week, Monday, um, I can address some of those questions and answers um, before we go into that session and that topic. I can do that. I'll be more than willing to do that. But thank you so much. Thank you again, Miss Griffith, for providing this platform and um, having it open for each and every person to learn, to share. So thank you so much. Happy Monday, everybody. Uh,
Good to you.
and thanks so much. I'll be talking to you all again soon.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Deacon Love. Thank you so much. Okay. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Erica Glenn, Flo China Jeter, Joanne Lee, Monica Nigeria,
Hello.
Faith Stover, and Sexy Too Much. Sexy Too Much for you, Coleman. I'm sorry, we're ending the live now because we've been here for some time and we are also pressing for time. Once again, thanks to everyone in the chat. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And thanks to Flo Chang Ajita for dropping the information that you can contact
Thank you.
Thrive New York.
Yes.
And there's and
If
there's
you like, put your information in the chat. I can reach out to you. If you like, if you have questions and stuff, put your information in the chat, and I can reach out to you, or you can reach out to me.
yes,
That way, we can get those answers and comments addressed. Thank
yes.
you.
And Flo Chang Ajita dropped the information for the National Mental Health Hotline. The number is
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
662 4357. The number again is 800 662 4357. That's the National Substance Abuse Mental Hotline. Thanks again for everyone in
Thank
the
you, Miss Shane.
and thank you all for tuning in. And thank most of all Miss Deacon Love for
Thank
presenting
you all.
Monday.
I'll
And
see you
hope
next
to see
time.
you guys on Sunday and next Monday. For those who questions we haven't answered, we will revisit it on Monday. I have everything here dropped down. You can't see me what I'm doing here in the background, but I have everything here dropped down, and we will answer your questions on Monday. We will revisit it on Monday again. We will have a
Okay.
different topic, but we will revisit it. And for those of you all who have a topic or expertise you want to share, you can contact me at cc@gmail.com, or my Instagram is Chardonnay. Or you can contact Deacon Love at dunamasongmind@gmail.com, and her telephone number is 718-576-8110. Again, her telephone number is 718-576-8110. And our email address is dunamasongmind@gmail.com. Thank you all so much,
Thank
and
you.
have a great day and have a blessed week. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, Ms. Deacon Love. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Griffith. Bye bye now.
Bye, everyone.